Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first ever episode of 49ers Before Dark. Usually it's after dark, but I'm in Southern California for a big Indian wedding. My sister-in-law is getting married. It's an all-week affair, so I'm working in the morning and doing some dancing at night. So let's talk Niners while I still can. All kind of new information coming out about who the Niners can take. Most of it is misinformation, but my man Jesse has found some very interesting information. And this isn't from a source. This is from Jesse. So lay it out for people, man.
All right. So I decided to do a little digging yesterday into some social media accounts. So I started with Twitter. Twitter is just, by the way, way too hard to find who people are following unless you want to scroll for hours. So I was like, let me jump over to Instagram real quick. So first I checked with Trey Lance, see who he was following, if there was any major 49ers, if he's following any teams, what have you. He's not following any teams. He's following a multitude of different players throughout the league, including some 49ers. So then I did the same thing with Fields. Nothing came up, no teams, multitude of players, no difference there. Mac Jones, same exact thing. Then I got to Wilson. And
Mr. Zach Wilson.
Mr. Zach Wilson. And I knew that he was already following the 49ers. Like that was something that I was aware of. But to take it a step further, not only is he following the 49ers, but he's following so many players that he's down to River Craycraft.
You're kidding me. You're telling me that Zach Wilson follows River Craycraft?
River Craycraft, yes.
Wow.
So I
don't even follow River Craycraft.
No.
I need him to catch at least 7 passes before I follow him.
That's the
at 7
right there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So not only is he following the 49ers and River Craycraft, he's not following the Jets.
Really?
So I'm like, okay, so there's a few things that come out of that. I dig a little bit deeper. He's following the Atlanta Falcons. So it's not like he's just following, I don't know. He's not adverse to following other teams, is what I'm saying. So he's following the Falcons, he's following the Niners. He is not following the Jets. The only Jets player that I could see that he was following was Cohn and Williams. And you would think, well, if you're a quarterback, you'd want to follow, I don't know, the receivers, the guys that are protecting
the
you.
Left tackle. Yeah.
Nothing there. So there's a few things that I kind of pull from this. Either A, he wants to go to the Niners and he's had a private conversation with the Jets saying, listen, I don't want to play here. I don't want to turn it into anything. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. But just so you know, I don't want to be here.
It sounds like it's possible that it's not just that he wants to go to the Niners. It's like anywhere but the Jets.
Right.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
The Niners.
Yeah.
But you could argue that the Jets are one of the worst landing spots a young quarterback could go to.
For sure.
Up there with like the Bears.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think about it, he knows that if he doesn't go to the Jets, he's not falling past 4. So why follow any other teams, right?
Right.
So that's one possibility. Possibility 2 is the Jets have told him we're not picking you, and the 49ers have made a promise that if you fall to us, we are. And same thing with the Falcons. They've promised him if you fall to us, we're taking you, right? And then option number 3 is just flat out he knows he's going to San Francisco. Like San Francisco has said, we've talked to the Jets. They are not going with you. You will be a 49er. So be ready for that on draft day. I don't know which of the 3 it is, but I can tell you this right now. If he's not following the Jets, there's something to that. If you're following picks 3 and 4, but you're not following pick 2.
Look, I have no idea what the right answer is. You laid it out perfectly. Great detective work. I'm not even on Instagram. I need to get on Instagram. The way I see that is my best guess is that he doesn't want to play for the Jets. I think this is more an indication of what he wants than what the Jets plan. I don't think we know what the Jets are planning. No. Maybe the Jets haven't even really revealed to any of these players what they're planning. It seems like they're keeping it closer to the vest than even the Niners are. But if I were Zach Wilson, I wouldn't want to play for the Jets. And if you dig into his past, he's had a past of turning people down. He didn't get a lot of offers in high school early on. He wanted to go to Utah, from what I understood. Utah finally offered, and he said, no, I don't want to go. You guys didn't appreciate me early enough. I'm going to BYU. So I don't know. I mean, I could see him saying, I don't want to play for the Jets. It's not good for me.
Well, 2 other things that I'll add in real quick is, 1, he did say before this whole draft process started that San Francisco was a great fit for his talent. He thought that Shanahan's scheme fit him very well.
Yes.
And then also the Jets said that they wanted to make sure that his shoulder was okay. So did that spur him a little bit? I don't know. But I can't say that there's nothing to it. Maybe he still gets drafted by the Jets. I don't know. But it is something worth noting.
Yep. And I don't think people know. I didn't realize until this morning reading an article on NFL Network, NFL.com from Tom Pelissero. Zach Wilson's had both labrums operated on. Both of them.
I didn't know
both
that
labrums. I don't know, man. A little scary. We're talking labrums for. I mean, Drew Brees had labrum surgery, and he ended up going. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. Yeah. Alex Smith never was really the same, but he had a great career. I mean, it's just something to think about. Trey Lance hasn't had labrum surgery. That's all.
Yeah, definitely hasn't.
But no, I think this is very, very interesting. And actually, in like 2021, this is some of the best way to get like the real information. Yeah. Because it's not an agent lying to you. It's not a team lying to you. It's a 21-year-old following people on Instagram. That's some of the truest, realest stuff you can see.
Right.
Yes. All right. So there's some smoke that it could be Zach Wilson. Meanwhile, we got Rich Eisen, who's very famous, got millions of followers on Twitter. I'm sure he knows people in the league, says that what he's hearing is that Trey Lance is now the guy. The Niners going to take Trey Lance. No one else has reported this, but it's Rich Eisen. Big deal. What do you make of this?
I don't know what to make of it. Every single person has a new report every day of what's for sure going to happen. I think at the end of the day, it's impossible to fully know. There's no way, but I definitely get a little excited because Trey Lance is the guy that I've wanted this whole time. And once we moved up to 3, like that was the guy I wanted from that point on. So with that said, I love it. I just don't know how true it is. And I will say this, before I had done that Wilson research, I really did think it was between Mac Jones and Trey Lance. I didn't think, for some reason, I just had a feeling that it wasn't Fields. Then that report came out that it for sure isn't Fields. Pounding the table, it's not Fields. I'll put all my whole past. Yeah, Lombardi. I'll put all my credentials on it. My sources versus your sources. Like, dude, calm down. So
way to up the ante on yourself. I mean, no one else was asking you to do that, but I like it.
You're arguing with yourself. A good job. So I never thought it was Fields. And then when that came out, I'm like, okay, well, it's probably not if he's willing to go that far with it. But now this whole Zach Wilson thing definitely has me thinking. Again, I don't know what it means, but it gives me some room for pause. I don't know what's going to happen on draft night, but it's going to be crazy.
Well, let me put it together like this. The Niners don't leak, right?
Right.
Who's the one quarterback they haven't been linked to?
Well, Lance,
Wilson.
really.
Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Wilson.
Yeah, you're right.
Because now Lance is getting leaked to them. I mean, originally it was Mac Jones, and then it was Justin Fields, and now it's Lance. So who's the one guy? Wilson. And the way I look at this is maybe the Niners will end up taking one of Mac Jones, Justin Fields, or Lance.
Right.
But I think they want Justin Fields. Excuse me. I think they want Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the Jets to blink. We're right behind you. You want to know what Kyle Shanahan's thinking. You're insecure about your own ability to pick better than him. So we started off with Mac Jones. We like Mac Jones. And the Jets are like, are you kidding? Are you kidding?
We're not going for that. Yeah.
No, we like Sam Darnold better than Mac Jones. So Niners like, all right. That's not going to work. Okay, that's not going to work. We love Justin Fields. Justin Fields is the quarterback that we love, and doesn't seem to be getting any movement on that front. Nothing's really changing. So with what is it, 8 days left, 9 days left?
8 days.
Hail Mary time. We like Trey Lance. Let's see one more time if we can get the Jets to blink, because why not?
That's a very good point. That's a very good point, Grant. I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Actually, let's think of the timing of this, right? So it's Fields. Reports come out that they like Fields. You see all the smiling with Shanahan and all that stuff on the whatever. But let's add in the fact that it came out yesterday that he has epilepsy.
True.
So now it's like, whoa. Okay, so maybe they won't take Fields, but I bet we can sell Trey Lance to him.
It's like, oh, God. Now we can't bluff Fields. We can't bluff.
Yeah.
We tried to bluff Mac Jones.
Yep.
Tried to bluff Fields. Mac Jones, no one wants Mac Jones.
Right.
That didn't work. I mean, that's less popular than trading for Sam Darnold. This thing with Justin Fields, he's a little controversial.
Yeah.
Half the people like him, half the people have questions. Trey Lance is so unknown. It's like, well, what are you really going to say about him? I mean, he didn't play. What do you know? Yeah. What do you know for sure about Trey Lance? So I think that's what it is. I think the Niners are really trying to get Zach Wilson, and they just may. They may have Zach Wilson being like, hey, I don't want to play for you, Robert. I don't want to play for you. What are you going to do? I mean, look, Eli Manning did that.
For sure. For sure.
Quarterbacks do this.
They do. They absolutely do. Usually you hear about it, but that's what I'm saying. Behind the scenes, it absolutely could be that.
Oh, Chris Bucco is like, has been on this. He's been on this. I think he's a New Yorker. He's from New Jersey. And every time I float that, hey, I think that the Jets might not take Zach Wilson, he's like, boom, here's a $5 donation to set you straight. So I appreciate you. He's donated like $50 to my cause just to tell me how wrong I am. So I really appreciate it, Chris. And I'm taking you serious. He says Zach got called out for following Jets players and custom NJ car shop that all Jets players use. He followed Falcons and Niners hour later.
But he still doesn't follow the Jets team.
Yes.
Answer that. That's the only thing for me. Listen, I'm not saying you're wrong, Chris. You absolutely could be right. And by the way, no surprise there because he's a major favorite to go there. I'm just saying it's something worth noting. If you're following those teams and you're not following the Jets, that has to tell you a little something. It's one thing if he was following too many Jets players and the custom car shop and all that, and he gets called out. Well, great. Just add in the 49ers and the Falcons. That's fine. But
also, Chris,
why not follow the team?
Also, I haven't shown you this, but Chris sent me a DM. I'm not going to say who. It was a DM of a very prominent NFL journalist with a blue check, DMing someone saying that it's basically a done deal between the Jets and Zach Wilson pending a physical. This was weeks ago.
Okay.
And it ain't no done deal. And it seems to me that the physical with Zach Wilson is going to be very interesting because the dude has had shoulder surgery twice on each one. So there's something to examine there. So just saying.
Listen,
maybe the Jets saw something that made him queasy.
Before yesterday, I would have thought it was a done deal too. Even Steve Young came out and said, he's going there. This is a good fit. Congratulations. All those things. It's just a little precarious to me. That's all I'm saying. It's worth noting.
Fields and Juice started following each other on Twitter.
True. Did see that. Yes.
Yep.
Did see that.
That's always interesting.
Especially because Juice came out and around the time that he said that, he also came out and said, well, I'll support whoever the starting quarterback is. So that is a little interesting.
Carl Zion says people pinned us to Ruggs and CD last year. We ended up with Kinlaw. Expect the unexpected next week.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it was the one quarterback the Niners haven't been linked to.
Right.
I think it's obvious who they're hoping to get. I don't know if they can get the Jets to blink, though.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
All right. So let's say the Niners don't take Mac Jones. Let's say the Jets blink and they go for Trey Lance, which may be the right pick. He might be the best player in the whole draft. Let's say they take Trey Lance or Justin Fields and the Niners don't draft Mac Jones. They take Zach Wilson. What happens to Mac Jones?
He's going to fall, I think. I think he could fall pretty far. Like, let's look at the teams that honestly would probably take Mac Jones. And I don't think there's a lot of them. I think the Patriots are one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Broncos, by the way, who need a quarterback, I don't think they're taking Mac Jones. I think they want Lance or Fields, and they're willing to move up for those guys. So I would say the Patriots are probably a team that would be interested. I would say maybe Washington, right? Because they only have a 1-year stopgap.
Yeah.
And I would say probably the Steelers and the Saints are the 4 teams that I would pin on. But all of them are 15 or later.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think the Patriots' MO, by the way, is to move up into the top 10 to get them. I really don't believe that.
I don't think they would take a quarterback in round 1 under any circumstances. I think they like Cam Newton.
I do too. And I don't know. I just look at the overall issue. If we go Mac Jones at 3, it's so crazy because we're literally fighting against ourselves.
Yes.
We did
fighting against yourself. It's like going to an auction and yelling 800, 900, no 1,000. It's like that's you talking to yourself.
No need for it. Nobody else is outbidding you, I promise.
2,000, that's my final. No, 3,000.
You're exactly right. That's exactly what it is. Because I don't think bare minimum, I think he falls to 15. But he easily could fall into the 20s, which, by the way, I think that's the value that he's always should have had. That's where he should be, as a late first round, early second round talent. That's just my opinion.
Wilson has ADHD, Fields has epilepsy, McCorkle has DUI, Lance has to be the pick. Yeah, Lance just has nothing on him. Like he's like Jay from Men in Black. There's like, I'm sorry, there's nothing here. Your name is That's all we got. Look at
I agree with you. Lance is the guy. He's the guy I've always wanted. So I'm not swaying on that for sure.
Lance is interesting. He's one of the more interesting players I've ever tried to evaluate. I mean, everything you learn about him is like, it's like anecdotal. Like, hey, I hear he's really smart. Hey, I hear it's like, oh, great, because numbers lie.
Yep.
And but it's just so little reps. And I gotta say, if I were a coach and I was like 65, I wouldn't want that. I'd be too scared. I'd be like, if this doesn't work, I'm never coaching again. I'm getting run out of the league. But if our Kyle 41, that's a risk I could take. I'm gonna be coaching this league a long time. Why not go for someone who might be great as opposed to Mac Jones, who's the most pro ready? Imagine trading up to number 3 and making a decision based on who's the most pro ready. I mean, come on.
That's such a bad decision.
I'm not saying they're going to do that, but
I'm not sure. And again, I've laid out the case. I don't think Mac Jones is the most pro ready. It's not like he has a ton of games under his belt. It's not like quarterbacks that aren't mobile don't struggle early. All those guys struggle early. Right. If you're a pocket passer and a pure pocket passer, you struggle early. That's just the way that it is.
Exactly.
It's the mobile guys that do well early. So he's not the most pro ready. And this whole notion of win now, it's the biggest garbage BS thing I've ever heard. Win now. So if we're ready to win now, why are we even taking a rookie quarterback?
Exactly.
Because rookie quarterbacks, quote unquote, don't win now.
Yeah. You're trying to have the brightest future imaginable. You're trying to draft a quarterback who's going to have the best long-term career. That's what you're doing here. And what I don't get is, like, I was listening to Daniel Jeremiah yesterday, who's really smart, and he's trying to like justify the Niners taking Mac Jones. He has Mac Jones ranked 32nd on his big board, but he also has Mac Jones going to the Niners at 3. And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, for any other team, it wouldn't make sense. But for the Niners, it makes sense because they have all the things that they had out of Alabama, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then take him at round 2 then. That's fine if he fits your offense, but if you don't take him at 3, he's going to drop to 24, and you could trade up to get him. There's no reason to take a guy 20 to 25 spots ahead of where you needed. Like, you could have just stayed at 12, though. Dude, what are you doing? Yep. And people know it, and people are going to hold that against you the rest of your career. So, if I think he dropped pretty far, and if the Niners are dead set on him, dude, just take Kyle Pitts and then trade back up and get him later. And if you miss out on him, who cares? Yeah, get someone else.
Yeah, it's funny because the narrative early was, well, it's okay to take Mac Jones at 3 because we really don't know for sure if he would have fallen to 12. I think now we know for sure that he would have fallen to 12.
Yes. I mean, Carolina's not taking him at 8. They have Sam Darnold, who's a better prospect in most teams' mind than Mac Jones. Maybe the Niners prefer Mac Jones to Sam Darnold. I bet you the Panthers don't. I bet you the Jets don't. Stuff like that. So he gonna drop. If the Niners want him, don't take him at 3. You can get him later.
Exactly.
All right. So the Niners are in this position where they traded up to 3, and I think even the people who are the most optimistic about the Niners are like, yeah, this is tough to justify. This is a little bit baffling that we took the assets that we were going to give to Deshaun Watson and then said, no, now we're going to give it to Mac Jones. I mean, that's just tough. Even if it's Justin Fields, that's not Deshaun Watson. Right. So how did the Niners let's try to trace back all the bad decisions the Niners had to make to get themselves in such a risky spot.
Yeah. So it starts with right when they took over the team, 2017. They said, basically, everybody knew it. They wanted Kirk Cousins. Okay. So they get halfway through the season, and for some reason, they bail on that plan. By the way, they've now not looked at Deshaun Watson. They've now not looked at Mahomes because they have a plan in place for Kirk Cousins. But why are you halfway through a season and you bail on said plan and go get Jimmy Garoppolo? Okay, so that's mistake 1. You bail.
You don't really know. You've seen him on tape. Maybe you interviewed him for a day at the combine. You don't know him.
Yep.
And he's played like 2 games in the NFL.
Right. So then Jimmy plays 5 games, plays out of his mind. All credit in the world goes to him. And instead of franchise tagging him, what do? They sign him long-term. So that's mistake number 2. Mm-hmm. Mistake number 3 is they draft no other quarterback other than CJ Beathard, who they drafted in 2017. And now we're 5 years into a plan with no quarterback, and you're in complete desperation mode. So now you have a plan possibly to go get Watson, and he has alleged things that are brought up against him. And so what do? You sell every asset that is left on your contract to move up to number 3 to get a quarterback. And by the way, if it is in fact true that they are going back and forth between these guys and they didn't even know who they wanted, that's even worse.
So much worse. So much worse. Jed, we're going to trade up to number 3. We feel really good about it. Okay, John, Kyle, who are you going to take? That's the thing. That's the thing. We haven't quite nailed that down yet, but we're going to circle the wagons and talk about it. Don't worry. What are you talking about? No, you can't trade up to number 3 without a guy in mind, Mike.
Right.
Come on, Jed. You got to learn to say no some of these times, dude. Whoa. Unless Jed was the one who pushed him. It was like, hey, man, it's year 5. I don't want to hear that you're going to wait one more year with Jimmy. Or maybe Kyle's been like kicking the can down the street with the quarterback thing, and Jed was finally like, you know what? Do something. You're on the clock. You get 3 years.
Yeah.
You could be 3 years with Jimmy. You could be 3 years with someone else, but you got 3 years. I know I gave you the extension. I don't care.
Yep. It's just, to me, it's a lot of mistakes that have led to this point. And I think that we look at it as one off-season decision, but really it's you had multiple chances to get your guy and you haven't done it to this point. And so now here you go.
Greg says Brian Baldinger says Mac Jones is basically Joe Burrows.
He's not.
What's your take on that?
He's absolutely not. There's no way. No.
If you love Mac Jones, that's how you sell it. It's like, whoa, everyone liked Joe Burrow, and he only had. No.
He doesn't. First of all, he's not as athletic as Joe Burrow.
He's smaller than Joe Burrow.
He's smaller than Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
His arm is not as strong as Joe Burrow. Those are things that you're never, ever going to be able to fix no matter what. No. So, yeah, I guess the similarity to Joe Burrow is he's the one that's caught lightning in a bottle and done a bunch here. But if he was Joe Burrow with that kind of talent, he would definitely go number 2.
Yeah, I mean, all of the highlights I remember of Joe Burrow from college are him outside the pocket, him booting out to the right against Alabama and throwing down the field. I mean, that was the first time I realized who Joe Burrow was. I was out I don't watch college football during the season. I was out because Saturday's, day with my wife.
Yeah.
We were going out to lunch and we happened to pick a place that had a game on, and it was LSU, Alabama. I see this dude roll out, bomb it. I'm like, oh, that guy's going to be a very high pick. I just don't know who he is, but he just did that against Alabama, I'm guessing. And it's like, yeah, I remember that play. Like, that's not Mac Jones.
Yeah.
No.
That's not Mac Jones at all.
Was Mac Jones
they're not
playing
the
that
same
game?
Player.
Was that Mac Jones in that game? Because I don't remember him from that game. I remember Joe Burrow. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're right about that one. Yeah, I think you're right about that one.
Anyway, Daniel says 49ers aren't hoping their guy falls to 3. They didn't talk to the Jets for a reason. Pitts isn't going 1 or 2. We're taking Pitts and Mac later.
I like it. Listen, I'm cool with that. I'm not a big Mac fan, but if we can get him quote unquote later, like move up to 15, say, with Jimmy Garoppolo and 43 or something, that's cool. Like, I'm not too mad at that.
But if they want to do even better, get Mondre Trask. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
The Mac Jones thing. Here's the thing with Mac Jones. I have a feeling he's going to have a similar thing happen to him that Tua happened. I mean, they're different. But the thing with Tua that I can't get over is when he's on the field wearing that Dolphins uniform, he looks like a backup to me. He looks small. He looks weak-armed. And he doesn't look that mobile. It's like, I'm nervous. When Josh Allen's on the field, I'm like, man, he's going to truck someone. When Tua's on the field, I'm like, oh, my God, this could be it. And with Mac Jones, when he gets on the field, we're going to be like, man, he looks smaller than I expected. Man, that arm is weaker than I hoped.
Yep.
Oh, man, he's just not an athlete at all.
Yeah.
But he does other good things. I don't know. I think that's going to be the problem.
I know that this doesn't matter as far as how good you're going to be, but the guy looks terrible in pads. Like, I wanted somebody that looks good in pads at least. He just looks so awful in pads. It's so, I don't know.
It's like a punter.
Exactly. I can't go.
One Skinner says Lance is a scary pick at 3. Any GM considering drafting Trey Lance in the first round should be fired. NFL scout. That's very interesting. To me, it's coaches who would be scared by Trey Lance, because I've always heard coaches say this: potential gets you fired.
Yep.
And those are more coaches who are, don't have the job security of Kyle Shanahan, or a little bit older. It's like, man, I can't get this wrong.
Yeah.
But I think GMs and scouts would love a guy with that kind of upside. Uh-oh. Jesse's timing out. He'll be back.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Okay.
All right.
God, I'm hardwired in and everything. Crazy good speeds. I don't know what the deal is.
All right.
Yeah, here's the thing, is if the 49ers take Trey Lance, let's not forget that they had John Beck from QB Collective, who is directly from Shanahan working with this kid for the last few weeks. They brought in one of their receivers who was just on the roster in Matthews that ended the season last year to be at his pro day. They are making an educated decision here. If it's Lance, he brings a lot of great things to the table. And I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but if you've ever started a new job, right? Sometimes you have the skill sets to be good at that job, but what holds you back is you don't know the ins and outs. So you don't know how to do the paperwork right, or you don't know how to run the systems right, whatever. And that will slow you down. It makes you think too much.
For a month.
At least with Trey Lance, he knows how to read a defense. Yes. He knows how to set protections, and he knows how to call an audible, and he knows how to use plays with long verbiage.
That's right.
So he's not going to play slow because of those reasons.
And so you could argue that
fix his mechanics.
His experience, although it's small, is more applicable, is more valuable than the other guys' experiences, especially anyone playing at Ohio State or Alabama or freaking BYU, any place that doesn't have a track record of developing quarterbacks the way North Dakota State does.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, he has some mechanical things he could work on, but I'm banking on that over the last 5 months, like his coach said that they are absolutely working on those things and have not only worked on them, but they've corrected them. And I know it's not against live bullets, but the mechanical issues that I saw, the two or three that I saw that were major, 2 out of those 3 have been fixed. The only one that I want to see still get cleaned up is his left shoulder gets out in front of him when he throws right, and that's why he'll miss some of those throws. He'll throw high on a lot of those throws. That's the only mechanical issue that I want to see get cleaned up, and he has time to do that.
Yeah, he's 20. He's new to the position, and people say, well, he's inaccurate. I mean, look at his passing charts down the field. Dude, he threw like 280 passes in college. Like anything you say about Trey Lance, you could be like, well, that's a small sample size. Mm-hmm. You don't know that he's inaccurate. You don't know that he's accurate. Anything you want to say about him is basically, not supported by enough evidence. Right. So, I mean, I watched his game against Delaware from 2019. Looked extremely accurate. He shredded Delaware. Yep. Every throw he made was on point, and he doesn't even come close to turning the ball over. He's very, very judicious and safe with the ball. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he is accurate, but I can see why the Niners are doing their homework. It's just a giant unknown, and there's so much to like about him. It seems like he has more good qualities that are uncoachable than any other player in the draft. Quarterback.
One of the things that people worry about is, well, when the bullets start flying and he's playing again, that he's going to revert back to those mechanics. It only takes 66 days to build a habit, they say. If you've had 5 months, I think you're probably okay.
Also, it's not like he's Justin Fields, who's been playing quarterback since he was 7 years old and has a throwing motion ingrained in him since he was in second grade. I mean, he's new to this whole thing. He actually might be able to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Okay. How a mobile quarterback opens up Kyle Shanahan's offense? This is an interesting question because we've seen that Kyle Shanahan can do this. He did it in Washington before RG3 got hurt. That was one hell of an offense, one of Shanahan's best. So how would a mobile quarterback really open things up?
Yeah, well, Bay Area Baller made a great point on your show when he said he went back and he watched that offense, and they ranked top 5 in basically every major category. They were very explosive. The one thing that I'll say is they run a lot of end arounds, fake jet sweeps, RPOs, and those things all look the same and they work fantastically. If you can add in a fake jet sweep to an RPO to handing off to your running back, and now you can have your quarterback take it out the other side, it's literally impossible. You're putting every single edge defender on notice, and they're not going to be able to follow the ball on a regular basis. If you think that this offense is explosive now, just wait until you get somebody that's mobile, and not only mobile, but strong and can take a little bit of a hit. That opens up the offense so big. And then let's add in that Fields and or Lance, if they take one of those guys, has a rocket for an arm. And now you can add all that in, fake a jet sweep, do an RPO, roll out to the right, and hit a crosser 40 yards downfield coming from one side to the other. It's impossible to stop that. And we see what the Ravens do with Lamar Jackson and we think that's unstoppable, I promise you, the way that this offense is built and all the things and the way they look, and you add in that extra element that also keeps things looking the same, it will be an unstoppable offense. I guarantee it.
It would be interesting to incorporate the quarterback run element into the Niners run game because they're a run-first team. It couldn't hurt. That being said, the Niners really did have like the number 2 run game in the league in 2019 when everyone was healthy. I think Kyle feels like he doesn't necessarily need that to have a great run game. So I want to go a different direction. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that was a good point. But I think there's another way that it could help too. And I look at third down, like not in terms of what Kyle could scheme up, but in terms of how this limits what the defense can do and it makes it easier for Kyle. I think the most important thing about mobility for a quarterback is scrambling because there's those 2 or 3 third downs a game where, first of all, if you're a scrambling threat, that limits the coverages that the defense can call. You can't call 2-man against a scrambling quarterback because he'll just run for the first down every time. You'll have to spy him. It's just way too vulnerable. So you got to go single high safety and expose your corners, or you got to go zone and give up quick slants. It just really limits what the defense can do, and it makes it so much easier. Kyle doesn't have to be perfect 3rd and 8 calling drop back passes. You can have a guy who can run for 3 first downs a game, and to me, that's what Patrick Mahomes does. Like they don't run him a lot on options and stuff, but if you call 2-man on 3rd and 7, it's a first down. He's running for it every time, and it really makes it tough to defend.
Yeah, you know what? One thing I want to say, and I don't believe I brought this up when I was making a case for Lance last week, but one of the things that Shanahan did say in his press conference is he's looking for a guy that's not a robot. He says that I can feel like I can call a perfect play, but sometimes that play is designed to go against man or zone and you see the opposite. Or it's designed to go against cover 3 and you see cover 2. I need a guy that can get to the line and diagnose and make changes. Trey Lance does that.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I like Trey Lance better than Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to look like a Hall of Famer when everything's going to plan, according to plan. But when Kyle says, if he calls a pass that's supposed to attack cover 4 and you get cover 1, what are you going to do as a quarterback? If the protection isn't set correctly, what are you going to – it's like that's what I care about. What is your decision-making under duress? What is your problem-solving like under duress? And there's a lot of questions with Justin Fields. Look at the numbers under pressure. Look at some of the throws he made, some of his picks against Indiana. That's like throwing the ball to the other team. Trey Lance seems to be a quarterback you can trust to not make terrible decisions, which is valuable. It's valuable.
Yeah.
Can't trust Jimmy.
No, you definitely cannot trust Jimmy. Absolutely not.
Montana Oloa says chances Kyle drafts 2 quarterbacks. He's done it before.
I would say I actually made a joke. I think it was in one of the chats yesterday with maybe it was you and Vish, but I said book it. Niners are going quarterback, edge, quarterback to start their draft.
That's what East Bay Chris put in his mock draft. I think he had the Niners taking Mac Jones twice.
Oh, so that's funny. There we go.
Newt Lab TTV says, if Fields to Jets, would you prefer Zach Wilson or Trey Lance? No, something or other. Mac Jones, let's be real. Zach Wilson is not a college Mahomes, but some similarities. Trey Lance is a beast. What do you think?
Yeah, Trey Lance for sure. I've said it. I think Zach Wilson is the biggest propensity to bust out of all these guys. He does all the amazing highlight things very well, but the fundamentals are lacking. I think he feels himself a little bit too much. I think he thinks he's more athletic than what he really is. And I believe with his frame and that mindset, he's going to get hurt in the NFL.
I think he's going to get hurt too. I think he holds the ball a long time. I think he scrambles around a lot. And I think he's got not like a chip he might have a chip on his shoulder in the sense that he wants to prove that he's the best athlete on the field. Hey man, you were definitely the best athlete on the field at BYU, but you probably shouldn't have that mentality in the NFL because you're not. Trey Lance is. You're not.
I want to say this too. I've been going pretty deep throughout this draft because on my channel, we've been doing these crazy mocks where we're building a whole offensive unit and a whole defensive unit through the draft. So I'm going, picks around 5, 6, 7, pretty heavy in this draft. There's a lot of BYU players that are going to get drafted.
That's right.
There's probably 3 linemen, a wide receiver, a tight end, just on the offense outside of Zach Wilson. 5 players are probably going to get drafted on that team. Now, they'll probably go rounds 3 and later, some of them rounds 6, 7. But the point is that BYU didn't play against a lot of NFL talent, and he had a lot of NFL talent on that team. So
Project 6 says, is it true that Fields lacks high quarterback IQ? Pwa, pa, pwa, 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 pwa. I don't know what that part meant, but I liked it. Add a little something to it. I don't know that he lacks. See, that's not what I'm talking about.
I don't.
People say like, hey, he's lacking in the mental side of the game. What the hell does that mean? I'm trying to be specific. When I talk about decision-making and problem solving, that doesn't mean you're dumb.
No,
I'm terrible at problem solving. I'm terrible at it. I'm a very smart person. But when it comes to like making a decision, you could give me a 50-50 chance I'll get it wrong. It's just not, I bet you Albert Einstein would have been a bad decision maker. I bet you wouldn't want Albert Einstein to be your babysitter for your kids. No, it's just a totally different skill set. So
it is.
From all accounts, Justin Fields is very, very smart. All I'm saying is when I saw him go airborne against Indiana and go parallel to the ground and he threw the ball up anyway, I got to question what your instincts are under pressure. Instincts.
For sure.
That's just a reaction. So I'm not questioning
it has nothing to do with how smart he is. I think he's extremely smart, but
some of the smartest people are most indecisive.
Yep. 3.11 second hold time, 4th highest in the nation. I don't care if he has long developing routes or not. That's an issue.
I mean, go back and read Hamlet. That Hamlet had some of the most brilliant soliloquies in play history, and the dude spent 4 hours not making up his mind. Hamlet, make a decision.
Yeah.
They killed your father, Hamlet. Yeah. Do something about it. Come on,
man. Which, by the way, Shanahan kind of has this same problem, right? Offensive genius, is a wizard when it comes to drawing up plays and scheming. But when it comes down to tight decision making and, I don't know, running the ball versus passing in the Super Bowl, he makes the wrong decision twice now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. To be or not to be over here, Kyle Shanahan, I don't know. Just pick one. I don't care. All right, let's rank the Niners' biggest draft needs from 5 to 1.
Okay, so 5 to 1, I would say number 5 for me. Do you want to go back and forth, or do you want me to go through my whole list?
Just go through your whole list, and then I'll steal it. Okay.
All right. That's fine. All right. So number 5 to me would be a tackle. I think that we need somebody to replace McGlinchey, just because I'm not sure that he's going to ever be a solid pass blocker, which you need your right tackle to be both at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm also not sure that we have solid backups at that position if somebody goes down. Let's not forget that Trent Williams will miss a game or two pretty much every season. It's always happened. So I don't think that's going to change. And we need somebody that can fill in and make sure that we can keep this offensive going. So for me, I would say a good young tackle would be number 5. Number 4 would be a wide receiver.
Okay.
So I think a guy that we could go out in free agency and get is Golden Tate. I think he would be perfect to be that slot receiver for us.
Yeah.
But I think long-term, we definitely need somebody if Debo goes down, which is almost inevitable at this point. And we have a lot of players, right? Mm-hmm. But at this point, we're throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what's going to stick. Like the talent level at receiver at option 3 and behind Debo is not very good. Like, let's be honest.
What are you trying to say about River Craycraft, man?
Well,
I'm trying to say about Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed Sanu was really good 5 years ago. Come on.
Yeah. That's just it, right? Richie James, I think, could be pretty good. But the problem is Shanahan, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to believe in him. He's had multiple opportunities to put him in and play a lot of time at that 3rd spot, and he chose Trent Taylor. So I don't know what that says, but I feel like Richie James is getting slighted a little bit. But we need somebody that's good and some stability at that position.
Okay.
Number 3, quarterback. So this is not number 1 for me because I still feel like there's some talent there with Rosen.
I agree. And honestly, let's be fair with Jimmy Garoppolo. If the guy could stay healthy, he wins.
He's serviceable. He's more than serviceable. He's the 20th best quarterback in the league.
He's the winningest serviceable quarterback you could find. So that's good.
For sure. Yeah. So with those two, and I mean, come on, Sudfeld.
Yeah. Guy's 6'6", big dude.
But
not to mention Josh Johnson just waiting for his opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. So I obviously it's a position of need, and we've traded up to 3 to get one. But I don't think it's the biggest need on this team, personally. I think we have some decent options there.
I don't think it's a dire need at all. They actually have talent. They're like, well, you got to get a first-round pick at quarterback.
Yeah.
They have one. Top 10. Yeah. It's 24.
I would say number 2 for me is the interior O-line. So we have a 36-year-old center We have a left guard and Laken Tomlinson that just came off of a pretty bad season. And we've been playing musical chairs at that right guard position for way too long. I think we need some interior linemen. I would prefer a center and a guard, or maybe you can get one of those guys that can float throughout that interior line. But we definitely need an interior lineman. For me, that is position need number 2.
I mean, you could argue that player is Daniel Brunskill, and they need like a legit starting right guard. I like Daniel Brunskill, but they haven't given him enough time at any position to know what he can or can't do. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And then number 1 for me is a corner.
Yeah.
If Verrett goes down, and can we really trust Verrett to stay healthy? What do we really have at that position?
Nothing. You know, I tweeted a couple of days ago, the Niners are one injury to Jason Verrett away from having a terrible secondary. And that's usually the kind of tweet that Niner fans would take exception to. Got like 1,000 likes. And I feel like Niner fans were like, damn, he's right.
Yeah. How can you argue that? How can you argue that? You can't argue that. You really can't. If Verrett goes down, we are done for. We are absolutely done.
Dude, if Verrett goes down, the starting cornerbacks are Emmanuel Mosley and Dante Johnson. That's where you're at.
That's not good. That's not. And, I agree. As free agency has gone on, there's not really any corners out there that are worth having. So there are a couple guys, but they're long in the tooth. They're starting to fall off. I wouldn't want those guys to be people that I rely on. We need to get some young corners, and preferably 2, to be honest.
Yes,
in a dream situation, I would like to trade Jimmy and 43 to the Patriots for 15 and get JC Horn. That would be, if we do that, A++ throughout the whole draft. No question about it.
I like that a lot. And even if they don't do that, it's looking like there are any number of intriguing cornerback prospects in the mid-second rounds.
There's tons.
No excuse. Get one.
Yeah.
Don't chance it with Jason Verrett.
Absolutely. You can't.
John, why didn't you draft a cornerback again this year? Well, we really believe in Jason Verrett. Oh,
right. Oh, great.
Belief. Jamma Jaws says, I love that. Jamma Jaws. The fact that the Niners was going after Deshaun Watson proves Mac Jones isn't the choice. Also, since the Niners are a good team, top to bottom, the odds that any 3 quarterback picks play terrible below 500 is low. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. That I was interviewing Jim Moore Jr. again this morning. He said, look, whoever the Niners pick, I like it. It's the right pick. I trust John. I trust Kyle. I trust that team. Fair way to look at it. The only thing I take exception with, I listen to Daniel Jeremiah. He'll be like, look, I mean, the Niners have everything Alabama has. They have a great offensive line. I'm like, whoa. Who told you that?
Offensive line.
Who told you that, man? Yeah. Like, they have a good run blocking unit when they have Kittle and Juszczyk on the field, but that offensive line, I don't know, man.
Right.
I don't know. And if Nick Mullins and Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't stay healthy behind it, we're really sure that Mac Jones is going to make it 17 games. I mean, really, I don't know. If he were to get hurt, would you be surprised?
No.
Oh my God, who could have possibly seen this coming? I mean, he's built like a Greek god. Okay. Yeah. Final. I really shouldn't take a shot at Mac Jones because he definitely looks better than me. And I've been trying to lose some weight over here, although I can't see it in my – anyway.
You're not a professional athlete, though.
That's true. I don't have it. It's true. All right. Let's grade the Niners past 4 previous drafts. Not because the past predicts the future, just for fun. Just for fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So let's start with 2017.
That was a legendary draft. Let's do it.
I'm running quickly through the players.
Okay.
Round 1, Solomon Thomas. Round 1, Reuben Foster. Round 3, Ahkello Witherspoon. Round 3, CJ Beathard. Round 4, Joe Williams. Round 5, George Kittle.
Yeah.
Round 5, Trent Taylor. Round 6, DJ Jones. Round 6, Pita Tua. I'm not even going to try on that one. And round 7. Yeah, there you go. You mess up names a lot. That was impressive.
I interviewed him once. He was a real nice guy. I liked him.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
And then round 7, Adrian Colbert. And let's not forget that we traded around 4 for the great Capri Bibbs.
That's true. That is true. Look, so it's a horrendous draft, but they got Kittle.
They did.
So you can't give them a failing grade at all.
No.
They got the best tight end of his generation so far. So I got to give him a C-.
Oh, I think it's too high. I'm giving him a D-, honestly, because here's what I'll say. You traded up to get Foster.
Yeah.
Okay.
You missed out.
Out of all of these players, only 2 of them are still on the team. And DJ Jones is on a 1-year deal and is probably not coming back after next year.
You know who got taken 1 pick after Foster?
Who's that?
Ryan Ramczyk, one of the best right tackles in the league.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, okay, yeah, I went too high with that C-. Yeah, you get credit for George Kittle, but let's go back to Solomon Thomas.
Yeah.
I've said it a few times. I think Solomon Thomas is the worst draft pick of all time.
Yeah.
Now, Jamarcus Russell was bad. There's other ones, but Solomon Thomas, man, you could have had Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson. Basically, just pick names out of a hat. You would have done better. Given who they missed, worst draft pick of all time. So yeah, D- is fair. Even with George Kittle in the draft class, they can't get a passing grade. That's rough.
Yeah, you can't. There's no way. Nobody else is on the team that you can't give that anything high. You cannot give it a C. There's no way. Okay.
I was wrong. You swayed me. Okay, let's go.
All right. Okay, so 2018.
Real quick too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Reuben Foster with the shoulder thing, the labrum thing.
Yeah.
Something to think about with Zach Wilson. They play different positions though. Okay, keep going.
Good point. All right, 2018. Round 1, Mike McGlinchey. Round 2, Dante Pettis. Round
Traded
3,
up for Pettis.
Traded up for Pettis, yes. Yes, they did. Round 3, Fred Warner and Tavarius Moore. Round 4, Kentavious Street. Round 5, DJ Reed. Round 6, Marcel Harris. Round 7.
DJ Reed's good.
He not for us, he's not. He's not on our
man.
team. Golly. Round 7, Julian Taylor. And round 7, Richie James.
Okay, so now I'm going to give him a C-.
Okay.
Because Fred Warner is a hell of a draft pick.
Yeah, he is.
The rest of the draft picks are terrible. Dante Pettis, my God, Mike McGlinchey, but those two aren't as bad as the Solomon Thomas, Dante Pettis. They're close, but at least Pettis, Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster. At least Pettis was round 2. At least Mike McGlinchey is better than Solomon Thomas.
Yeah. I gave him a C, actually, is what I wrote down. So I think we're in the same wavelength.
Fair.
You totally
Fred
missed
Warner.
on your first 2 picks, whiffed completely, in my opinion.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for 2019, although we're starting to see some injury questions with those guys.
Yeah. So 2019, much shorter.
So we've gone
draft.
from D- to C. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we're moving up.
GPA is a little low, but it's moving up.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Nick Bosa, round 1. Debo, round 2. Jalen Hurd, round 3. The great Mitch Wishnowsky, round 4. Dre Greenlaw, round 5. And Caden Smith, round 6.
This is a very interesting draft. It's definitely their best draft.
Yeah.
But, I mean, in 2019, it looked like an A+. In 2 years, if Nick Bosa and Debo Samuel continue to have injuries and Jalen Hurd never does anything, it's a terrible draft.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you can't even grade it right now. I mean,
it's almost incomplete.
It's almost incomplete just because we don't know what to make of those top 3 guys. I mean, this almost is the beginning of the Niners' problems with injuries. I mean, your top 3 guys, you didn't care about their injury history. It was all there.
Right.
Debo, Jalen Hurd, Nick Bosa was all there.
Yeah.
And you're like, we might get fired if we don't make the playoffs this year. So we're going for it. Okay. But that's the risk you've taken. This is the Niners team. Good when healthy.
Yep. I'm going to give it a B+.
Fair.
I can't give it an A because you're right. Too many injuries.
B+ with the possibility to go up or down.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And last year's draft, Javon Kinlaw, round 1. Brandon Ayuk, who they traded up for, round 1. Colton McKivitz, round 5. Charlie Warner, round 6.
Oof.
Juwan Jennings, round 7. Let's not forget that they traded a 5th for Trent Williams, and they traded a 3rd round this year also. And then they traded a 3rd and a 4th for Emmanuel Sanders and a 5th.
I'm down on the Kinlaw pick. I didn't like that at all. They missed on Tristan Wirfs. Ayuk looks terrific.
Yeah.
The rest of the picks look terrible. Cole McKivitz looked like Charlie Warner. All of them looked like they shouldn't have been in the NFL.
Yeah.
Ayuk's interesting though. Again, if he can go down as a Pro Bowl All-Pro player, then you're just hoping to get one great player in a draft. And if they get that, then and Trent Williams, I don't know. It's looking like at least in the C range right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually gave it a B-.
That's
Trent Williams for me. It would have been a B+, but trading that 3rd and 4th for Emmanuel Sanders, who's not on the team, you got to go against that. And then, but getting Trent Williams, who's probably a top 5 tackle, arguably of all time, you can't hate that. So
yeah, I think that's a fair grade, B-.
Now, if we couldn't have re-signed him, oh gosh, that would have been a way worse grade.
So let's recap. We went D-.
Or D-, yeah, D-, C,
B+,
B-.
B-.
So,
No
ways.
A little, no A's, but improvement. And we see there's a possibility the last two could go up to an A. Like if Javon Kinlaw has a good second year, if IU continues on his trajectory, they could have some A's. Yep. You always say you got to give them 3 years. So the first two, though, ain't no hope there.
No, there's no hope there. No hope there. Capri Bibbs for a fourth? What are we doing?
Yeah, he's no Wayne Gallman. I like the Wayne Gallman signing, though. At least they didn't $10 million.
Right.
I don't think they did. At least they didn't draft him. At least they're not spending a day 2 pick on a running back. Yeah. Fine. Wayne Gallman's okay. Fine.
Yeah. Arden Kia, too. I thought it was a decent signing.
Yeah, he's exactly the kind of guy that Chris Kosarick does well with.
For sure.
Exactly the kind of guy.
For sure. Yep.
Hey, thanks everyone for watching a morning edition of a night show. Usually we do this while drinking Crevassier and smoking cigars, but it's not appropriate right now. Thank you. I know you got some dad duties you got to do. And
I do.
Some other stuff to handle. So everyone, thanks for watching. We'll be back nighttime next week. Appreciate your flexibility.
Day before the draft.
Yeah.